let's kick this off. First question I have for you. Well, not even first question. First of all, Dark Web Cicada 3301 is great. Like, it mixes so many different genres together, and I think that's brilliant. It's very well blended together. But you play Avi. Who is Avi?
Avi is the best friend of Connor, who is the lead in the movie. He is a professor of art and history and scientist. He knows a lot of things. He is a big nerd and cat lover. He probably does not get out much. And overall, he seems like he's a bit of a pushover because he lets Connor get him into a whole secret society issues that he could have probably just stayed home and fed his cats.
Absolutely. And he's great at making cupcakes also. I definitely wanted one of those cupcakes.
Oh, now, I forgot about doing that. That was a great day.
It was awesome. Now, Connor describes Avi as his best friend, but does Avi look at Connor in the same way?
I mean, like, if would I say that to Connor? No, because he's so egotistical. He already has it all. He's smart like me, but he looks like a dumb jock, and so he gets a lot of ladies, which I'm jealous about. He's very pushy, and so, but yeah, is he my best friend? Yeah, because he would be with me to the end. You can always count on him, even if he is going to get you kidnapped. He's going to get you out of it afterward.
True. That's true. You know what? Speaking of Connor, do you think that Avi realizes the dangers that Connor is going to involve him in? Is he surprised by this at all?
I think he is definitely. I think he's skeptical for sure. He's more there to kind of watch out for his friend to make sure that his friend doesn't do something crazy and end up in jail again. So I think, but once he kind of learns pretty quickly that they might all be in over their head. So I think he's a bit of a skeptic, and a lot like most skeptics, he is quickly figures out he might not know everything.
I love that you brought up that he is a skeptic, because one thing that we kind of get is that Avi's kind of really hesitant or reluctant to go on this adventure with Connor and Gwen. However, he does end up contributing a lot to their little trio. Talk to me about what intrigues Avi, because as soon as he sees the secret society symbolism, it almost seems like he's automatically engaged into the journey.
Well, again, because Avi is a professor and he has a knowledge of art and history and things like that. There's things that I think he's always been looking for, things that he's always been searching for. I think that's one of the reasons why Connor and Avi are friends, is that they both have a thirst for knowledge. And I think once he sees that symbol that he's aware of from his past, he's kind of like, oh, okay, this is like, I might not be exactly on your journey, but this kind of coincides with some information I've wanted to know all my life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I want to talk about Alan for a second, switching gears here. Now, Alan's making his feature directorial debut, and he did an amazing job. Yeah. He knocked it out of the park. But can you talk to me about the collaboration process working with Alan, and kind of what his directing style is that really intrigued you?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to talk about Alan, because if it wasn't for Alan's persistence and passion on this project, it would never have made it out for sure. I would have never have been in it, because he basically hog-tied me and made me go into this movie. I remember when I got the call for the offer for it, which I had not received many offers for anything, so I don't know why I was hesitant, but I got an offer, but it was like literally 2 days after I taped my comedy special. So I was like wiped out, and I was just like, and they want to be like, they're like, okay, in 3 days we need you in Canada for a couple months. And I was like, I love to be in a movie, but my son misses me. I just got this new girlfriend who I really like, who ends up becoming my wife. So I was like, maybe I'll stay. Thank you so much. But I was like, I'm going to stay home. Thank you for your offer. But then he called me directly and was like, no, you're in this movie. You have to be Avi. I wrote him for you. You got to be him. And then that's kind of like the same level of tunnel vision passion he had for the whole project there, because it was like a low budget shoot. And a lot of us were sometimes tired and cranky, and we'd be like, are you sure? We do this thing. We're like, I don't know if we got that. I'm not sure. And he'd be like, no, we got it. Let's move on. We got it. He was always so positive. And then when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, wow. It's completely different than even I imagined from when we were taping it. It's like he definitely, he studied under Michael Bay, and he's like, you can tell he has a deep vision for what he thinks an action movie should be, and an action comedy, or whatever you would call a full genre movie like that. And I think, like you said, he knocked it out of the park. I'm very happy and proud of him, and proud to be in this.
Yeah, the balance he really had maintaining the comedy beats was quite stunning, because you wouldn't. I mean, he's funny. I've seen him on Blue Mountain State, but I didn't think he had the timing like he was a comedy writer with the timing, but he executed it perfectly. But I kind of want to talk about the chemistry between you and Jack, because some of the stuff that you and Jack are doing on screen is some of the most funny stuff in the film. But what did Jack bring to the role of Connor that may have not necessarily been on the page?
Oh, I mean, he brought that bull in the China shop mentality. Basically, he was always like that. It made it easy for me to kind of get on the defensive, because that's who he is as a person. He just kind of bombards. He comes in. He's a very kind of like Beethoven the dog, where you're like, wow, I just got knocked over by this very playful thing that's covered me and licking me, but he doesn't know how strong he is. So it just made, I think it really allowed like this, the old school Odd Couple dynamic of, we're very different people, completely different. And I don't even think he has the internet. He's more of a caveman, and so he just brought a lot of that like animal magnetism, I guess is word, which is a word I don't want to say to him, because that sounds like too much of a sexy compliment, but I think that's what he brought to it for sure.
That's amazing. Now, look, the scenes between you guys are hilarious. How much of that is actually on the page, and how much of that is you guys just ripping and improv?
I'd say 70-30, which is what I like in any good script. Is like, there was a lot for us to do, and there was fun stuff on the page for sure. But again, Alan was very persistent, and maybe he'd be like, hey, just make it in your words, do it how you want to do. So there's like a few punchlines, a few things that I just ad-lib and throw in there. But for the most part, a lot of it was already on the script, and he just allowed us to play. And then I think a good part with him is that knowing like, oh, this is actually a little better, let me take this.
Right. Now, I researched the Cicada 3301, and I went down this dark internet rabbit hole. I didn't know that it was based on a real thing. Did you do research into this? And if so, research into the dark web, and if so, what's the most terrifying thing you discovered that most people might not even know?
See, before this thing, I did not look into this at all, or I would have been a little more scared about accepting it and doing it, because it sounds terrifying to me. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist in general. I just grew up. I mean, also, I just think if you grew up and your uncles and aunts were talking about the Tuskegee experiments and things of that nature, you're going to always have a little bit of distrust in you. So there's always a bit of that in me. But as far as like, now my research are things like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Black Mafia family, but I just love them from Atlanta. They were a cocaine syndicate that took over the rap game for like the early 2000s in Atlanta for several years. Young Jeezy's involved. I don't know if he would want me to say that.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's great. I had no idea about that. That's incredible. Now, back to this role for a second. I love Avi. Now, talk to me a little bit about what you wanted to bring to Avi that wasn't just on the page.
Oh, I mean, I just wanted it to bring, I mean, obviously on the page, he's smart. He's like a little bit nerdy, but like, I think what I bring well is heart and a little more groundedness in that character. So he's like, because I feel like that's a character, if you're like, oh, black guy, bow ties and cat, like, we get what you're trying to do. Like, he's just different. But like, my whole goal is to make him seem real, not like a character. And I just do that by like being me, being like, I like bow ties. I might not say I love his cats as much as he does, but I have an obsessive part. I love pro wrestling as much as he loves cats. So I just kind of brought this obsessiveness into it, and just what I was feeling, which was that like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm not sure if I should be here. I'm normally just a comedian, and now I'm a lead in an action movie. I don't know what I'm doing here, and that's kind of like Avi's character. Like, what am I doing here? I shouldn't be here. So like bringing more of that, and just trying to be myself and be funny is what I brought into it.
Ron, I did not know you were a fan of pro wrestling. Is that a fact?
Oh, it's a big fat. Yeah, I got a whole wall of action figures.
You know what, Ron? It's interesting because I got this
and my belt. Right here. Well, I got this right here.
Look at that. We're like tag team champions here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So funny. No, just out of curiosity, going way off topic here for a second, who is your current favorite pro wrestler, and what's your dream match?
Oh, great question. Who's my current favorite? Who can I not get enough of right now in this moment? That's hard. I don't know. I don't know because like I tend to find, I used to just go to a lot of indies. So I'd find these people before they were on TV and I'd be like, I love this guy. I love this guy. And now they're all on TV and I don't necessarily like, I'm kind of like a indie rocker guy where I'm like, oh, they sold out. I'm done with them. So I watch a lot of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I think right now, like, I really like this guy named Shingo Takagi because he's just like a badass and I saw him in Los Angeles as well, and I was just like, who is this guy? But then I also really like this guy. Oh, I'll pick another one no one knows at all. Mike Bailey. I like this guy named Mike Bailey. He is a black belt. He has the face of like a 80s TV star. Like he's just a cute little boy, but he's a black belt in karate and he can flip all over the place. And he's great. But if you're talking about TV, Kevin Owens, I love that guy. I love Roman Reigns. They're all great.
When do we get to see you in either a WWE ring or an AEW ring or even an NXT or Impact Wrestling ring?
That's up to them. I'm on board. Then they know it. And I think they know it so much. They're like, we'll get to you when we get to you. It's one of those things where, like I gotta play a little more coy. I'm always like, you guys need anything? I could do anything for you over there. Hey, you want a extra commentator, AEW? You want me to go NXT? Wherever. I'm on board. MLW.
That's amazing. Ron, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I did not know your passion of wrestling, as I'm a huge wrestling fan too. I'm also a New Japan guy too. I like Kota Ibushi. I think he's amazing. But man, Ron, this is a fantastic film, a fantastic role, and you're great in it. So thank you so much for your time.
Joe, I really appreciate that. It's always a pleasure. And thank you for your time.